like this one guy that I dated, I was in 10th grade. He the first I ever gave, he started taking pictures of me.
Hello. Thanks, great. What's up? We're live. Sort of. We live? Okay.
We're live.
All right. Okay. Here she is.
Whoa.
What's up?
Whoa.
What's up? Hello. Hold on. Let me just fix this stuff here. Hello. Okay. What's up, Kitty?
Woo.
Good to see you, Kitty Reynolds.
Good
What's
to
up?
see you, Ted.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Can I put feet on the couch?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We need you to get as comfortable as possible.
I like, I'm a good guest. I like to. Yeah, I'm not just gonna throw my fucking socks.
Do you take off your shoes at your own apartment?
I do. I think it's better without. I do take off my shoes in my own apartment because my roommate has that as a rule. It's not a personal. I don't personally care.
Yeah.
But in terms of like feet on the couch,
yeah,
I do get a little bit.
Really, even
I get
with
a little
socks.
weird about it.
Interesting.
Not with everyone, but if there's someone that I'm like, I don't really trust your hygiene.
Okay.
I get a little bit like.
Isn't that weird that socks are like that? You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't hands kind of be that situation? Like, you wouldn't want people's hands on your couch, which would be more understandable. Like, your socks are potentially covering the germs.
Socks should be fine, technically. Socks are more clean than your hands and your face.
Yeah.
But there's something about, a raw sock that gets me a little like, don't put it on my fucking couch.
Yeah. I hear you. Is Kitty short for Catherine?
It is. With a C, though. Catherine with a C, which is sort of a surprise.
Right. Well, I mean, you can't really spell the kitty with a C.
Right. It would be like
city.
Yeah.
Like Kitty in the City.
Whoa.
I guess we'll start there.
Yes.
So how'd you get to New York? Where are you from originally?
So I'm from Long Island.
Okay, we're in Long Island.
I'm from Stony Brook. And then I lived in D.C. after college for about 4.5 years.
Okay.
And that was working there, being a normal person.
Where'd you go to? Like American University?
I went to
Georgetown. Michigan. But so you went from Michigan to DC. My friend who actually went to Stony Brook Medical School went to Michigan. That's funny.
Interesting.
So I went to Michigan and I didn't even make it to the game because I was so drunk, which apparently that happens to people, right?
That was me every single, I barely got to games.
Woke up at like 6 and then was passed out probably by, 12:30 p.m.
Yeah, it's
insane.
A wild experience.
Yeah.
It made me who I am today.
Okay.
It really did.
Nice.
But yeah, I was there and then I did like a Michigan and Washington program where like my study abroad was DC. So I went to DC for a semester and I worked at Treasury and I was like a real fucking person. And then I just went back to DC after college.
Were you a poli-sci major?
No, I was sociology.
Okay.
But I liked political stuff.
What kind of programs were you studying in sociology?
So
in DC
or
at Michigan?
It was different because I was doing sociology and I was minoring in writing.
Okay.
And I did soc because it was what I was good at and I got good grades. And everyone was like, don't have your major be your career. You know, like it doesn't necessarily match up. And I was like, okay, good. I'm just going to get a high GPA.
Okay.
Which I did.
Nice.
And then I wanted to be a speechwriter, I wanted to be a ghostwriter. So then I started getting into executive comms, which is what brought me to DC.
Executive communication?
Yes.
All right.
So yeah.
So the speech writing kind of translates into comedy though.
It kind of does.
Because you want to sneak in a little bit in there during the speech.
Yeah.
You're like, thank you everyone for coming.
Right.
Even the Republicans.
Yeah. Thank you.
Like they little jab in there.
Right.
Okay.
And so I knew I wanted to do public speaking, like things related to, but then more and more I was like, I want to be the one to be speaking.
Right.
I was like, I don't really want, and I think because I was like younger, in general, I was conforming more and I was more like, what is a career that would combine my skills? I wasn't necessarily like, oh, I'm passionate about writing for other people. I was just like, it just sounds good to have something that would be like a little bit political and include writing.
Who were some of the people that you were writing for though? Or what positions? And it was government work?
Yeah. So initially it was government work and then I moved into the private sector. So first I was working at Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration. So TIGTA it's called. TIGTA. And they watch the IRS. So people don't know this. People are like, who's watching the IRS? TIGTA audits the IRS. And so I was helping write talking points for the Inspector General at TIGTA. Okay, is this too boring?
No, I love this.
We'll cut it.
Last episode we were talking about porn, so now this is a great show.
And I have a range, Ted. We could go back down low into the gutter.
She's a performer.
We could go into the gutter if we need to.
We'll go all over the place.
Yeah. So I was helping write for the inspectors general, but they also, like, at that point in time, they needed, like, the resident millennial on staff to help with, like, Twitter.
Okay.
At
this point, you were like 23, 24 years old when you were doing this?
No, so this is still in college. This was like...
During your year abroad?
Yeah, my year abroad.
Okay.
So I was a junior in college. So I'm like, what? I'm 18? No, I'm not fucking 18. I'm 20. Yeah. I'm turning 21.
19, 20?
Yeah, so I was like 20. And then did that, went back to DC for the summer though, and worked at like a public affairs firm.
Okay.
And doing like... that kind of thing for different nonprofits and like
But working as a speechwriter for these...
Not necessarily.
companies.
It was more like talking points.
And kind of teaching them how to use their words effectively on stage, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
And at that public affairs firm, they did like media training. So they would teach CEOs and like presidents how to like communicate at a public level.
So that's what they do with like NBA players, NHL players before they, go to the league and stuff like that. Okay.
Right.
So more professional
all
stage.
of that sort of like, learning how to teach people how to present. It was more financial, like nonprofits and stuff.
Okay.
But there were people that were clients that were like high end, like corporate people that you would teach them how to present and like give press conferences or be on the news really was the biggest thing. Like, I think one of their clients was like, and I guess I could say, because no one knows where I worked, but it was like Planned Parenthood was one of their clients. So they had been like training the Planned Parenthood folks on how to be on the news and stuff. You know what I mean?
Like how to, answer certain questions?
Yeah, how to answer questions. They would do like how to look at the camera, like instead of like looking somewhere else, or like they would just train you in.
Where are we supposed to look right now?
Well, I guess you would just look at the lens.
Okay.
But also I was an intern, so I wasn't the one doing I wasn't like, hey, CEO, let me teach you how to fucking talk. You know, I was like writing most of the tweets at that point. But that was like what the public affairs firm did, and that's what I was trying to do. Like I was like, oh, I'm going to work here after college. Like this is going to be what I do.
Going to Michigan, did you see yourself doing this sort of job, and then how'd you switch to comedy?
That's a good question. No, I don't think I knew going into college what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I always wanted to do comedy though.
Well, did you play sports or do drama in high school?
I did sports, no drama.
Is that how that got you into Michigan? Or
no,
it was just like a nice extracurricular.
I was just that was just nice extracurricular.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like a good student,
Right, naturally.
I was like, wanted to go.
Were you in a sorority there?
I was.
What, KKG?
No.
DG?
No. I was in AKO.
AKO. I don't know if I know that one.
Which it's so embarrassing now to be in a sorority, but it did.
Is it?
It is. It is. As someone who's like trying to be more of a creative, you know what I mean? It's embarrassing to be like bah, 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 doing the chants and like being bitchy to other girls. Not a good look now. It's not aging.
You know
well.
what? I mean? I think also in comedy in New York City, all the girls are kind of friends. Like you yourself, like I see you hanging around a lot of different girls. Like there's a nice clique of girls. It doesn't seem like a mean girls type of clique.
No, it's pretty cohesive, I feel like, the women of comedy. Mm-hmm. We're all kind of pals and non-binary folk, It's everyone. We're all chilling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you went to high school in Stony Brook?
Yep.
And you grew up there your whole life?
Yep.
What made you come to the city? Let's talk about comedy. You said you always loved comedy.
So in the pandemic, I always wanted to do comedy, but secretly. And then...
Me too, by the way. You say secretly.
Yeah.
Not secretly, but just like I never really put my full 2 feet in.
Yeah. I was always like, okay, I feel like I was always a performative person and like very theatrical and like, and people would tell me I was funny and stuff. And then that's what I really wanted to do. But I was like, no, I have to get a job and like have a life. Like I just wanted to conform.
Parents, though?
They didn't necessarily say it. They didn't explicit. They always said I could do whatever I wanted to do.
Right, but you can't graduate from Michigan and then hop right into comedy.
Right. I graduate with, $90K in loans. I'm not going to go
like not allowed.
start stand-up comedy.
Sure.
I'm going to go fucking find a job to pay off the loans.
Yeah, whilst potentially doing stand-up comedy at night.
Right.
Which you were doing, maybe?
No. So
Okay.
Pandemic happened, lose my job in April of 2020.
And you were living in New York City at the time? Or you were in
No,
DC?
I was still in DC. And then I don't get paid by unemployment, Ted, for 10 months. And I slipped through the cracks.
But you were still applying every month?
Yeah. Oh, every day. I applied when I lost my job, and I would call every day like a mad woman. I'd be on the phone for like 3 hours with the ring back.
So after 10 months, did they just give you like $20,000?
Yeah, it was like a lump sum. It was wild. But in that time of truly being completely bankrupt, I was like, okay, if this happens again, if I ever get to a point in my life where I have nothing and I have to identify with myself only, and the only way I'm comfortable is if I make people laugh. Like, if I'm being funny on stage, I think that's a life that if I make no money and nothing else good happens ever again, I can like rest my head on the pillow and like feel good about my life.
Speaking of Planned Parenthood, though, what happens if you had a kid and you slipped through the cracks? Would that not happen?
People got fucked. Like, there was a whole like DC in general had a ton of people who slipped through the cracks. My thing was the person who was assigned to my case left the unemployment agency. So it never got reassigned, was what happened to me. But people went into thousands and thousands of credit card debt if they had kids. Because I was reading on Reddit, like I was going crazy trying to find other people who this was happening to. And there were like Reddit threads and things. And like finally, after months and months and months, I just did my own sleuthing. Like, I went on Twitter, found the names of the person who could possibly be at the agency, made the email.
Emailed.
And I like made up fake emails to try to
proactive, like CCing your assistant.
Yeah, literally.
Here's my assistant helping me with my unemployment status.
Yeah, and so I was like, help me. Like, I literally had to sleuth.
Like, I'll call Delta. I'll be on the line with them for 3 hours in a day, and then maybe I'll be able to change my flight for $100 instead of $150 fee. I can only imagine how slow the unemployment offices are.
Yeah, it would be. Ted, I would be.
I'm sorry about that.
Going grocery shopping with luckily I had a boyfriend. Like, I still do have that same boyfriend.
Yeah.
So luckily I could eat.
He stuck it out.
Nice. We actually had a blast in the pandemic because I was like losing my shit.
You guys grew together.
We grew.
There's nothing deeper than that.
There's nothing deeper.
Maybe you guys could have been in the woods in Stony Brook, but besides having no money is pretty close to it.
It was trauma bonding. It really was.
He had a job though at the time?
He had a job.
Okay.
So we were like, I was floating.
But were you living at home?
No, I was living in my apartment in DC.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah. So I was just like, I don't know what to do. And my parents loaned me money for rent, but they're not even that liquid. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like they're my like safety net. I wasn't like, hey, mommy and daddy, like hook it up. It was like, could you maybe like float me? And they're like, we'll make it work. But it was like it was a stretch. It wasn't a good situation for anyone.
Shit. Okay. Pandemic. You were doing mics at the DC Improv and stuff.
No. So then I move after. So I don't have a job for a few months. My roommate wants to move when our lease ends. She's moving to New York, and I'm like,
you weren't living with your boyfriend though. He lived in a different apartment.
Yeah.
Okay.
At that point, we'd lived in 2 different apartments.
Yeah.
And then I moved, like my roommate's like, I'm going to New York. I'm like, okay, I'll start comedy.
I'm coming with.
Yeah, let's just do it.
So you moved in with your roommate in New York City?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are good friends?
Yeah,
Where'd
we're
you
pals.
meet?
We met in college.
Michigan.
Sisters.
Okay. Michigan
Sisters.
ladies, let's go.
Yeah. And I got the smallest room in the apartment because I was unemployed.
Okay.
And we got like a pandemic deal.
Where?
Lower East Side.
Ooh.
So it was pretty
chic.
It was pretty sweet.
Nice.
And by then after a few months in there, I started to get paid from unemployment. I got the lump sum and I got a freelance gig that helped me survive.
What was the freelance gig?
It was random. It doesn't even matter. It was like I was building PowerPoints for a fucking company.
So it's still kind of related.
Yeah. Still my day job is helping, like I do social media for a tech company. So I still do that all the time, which is so... Gross.
Moving to New York, though.
Yeah.
Getting into comedy more so.
Yeah.
Has it just been progressive? Like just you continuously doing shows?
Yeah. So I started doing, when I knew I wanted to do stand-up, I asked the Tiny Cupboard if I could run their Twitter for free before I even did my first open mic so that I could see if I even wanted to do it, because I was like, as you're finding out, I'm a very like deliberate person. So I was like, can I just like come and hang out, run your Twitter and see if I even want to do stand-up? Because like, if I'm going to do it, it's going to be like balls to the wall. Like,
Did you just show up and ask one of the owners?
No,
if you
I
could
like
do that?
emailed them.
When was that you asked
2020.
that?
It was probably like September 2020.
What was your thought process behind that?
I was like, let me just get involved in the
Some
space.
sort of like writing? Because you said you liked writing.
Yeah, and I had done Twitter for these.
What was your
brands
pitch to
and
them,
companies.
though? Were you like, I'll come up with clever tweets?
Yeah, I was like,
About,
I
like,
see
who's
that
on
you
the
have
lineup
no
tonight?
one running your Twitter. Like, they had like 40 followers when I
Okay.
started, and they would just have you know how MailChimp has like an automatic tweet that you can send out when you send an email blast?
I've heard of MailChimp, but I'm not familiar with the service.
So you can just like send an automatic email. So the only things on their Twitter were like the auto email blast with like a weird link.
To the shows that were that night,
Yeah.
maybe? Okay.
So then I was like, hey guys, like, can I just like help you out for free and like hang out and like learn about comedy? And they were like, yeah, sure, like for free. And I'm like, yeah, I just want to like see if I want to do this. And then after a few months, I'm like, I want to do this. And then I did my first open mic December 2020. And then from there, balls to the wall. I was like, fucking doing all the fucking
nasal passage.
Yeah.
Did you do plays and theater growing up in Stony Brook? Did you come to the city, see The Lion King and shit? Or what?
I mean, yeah, we saw like Broadway and stuff. Okay. But like my parents were always big stand-up fans. But I never did like plays or anything like that.
Improv?
No.
Class
Nothing.
clown in high school, though?
Yeah, I was cracking jokes.
What was your high school
Cracking
experience
jokes.
like?
I was like, my high school experience was actually really interesting because I got involved. Boys were one of my first drugs, is what I like to say. It's like, or like books were my first drug.
Yeah,
like I was like a
men
big
boys.
reader as a kid. Like I
Yeah.
was like a nerd.
Like what kind of books?
Like everything. Like
Catcher in the Rye, maybe?
Oh,
The
Catcher in the Rye.
classics?
I fucking
hold in his
Catcher in the
little hat. You
Rye.
just love.
Oh, Animal
nasal
Farm. Give me
passage.
some fucking Orwell. Like I love it. I love it all.
Fucking
But-
Ender's Game. Do you remember that one?
I actually didn't read that, but I know
don't
what you're
if I
talking
did
about.
Too. I think I did a book report on it, but I don't think.
Yeah.
Maybe I did the what's it called notes, Spark
Oh,
notes. I don't understand how kids are gonna actually focus on school these days with a Chat GPT these days. It's a joke.
It actually
To
makes
jump
me
topics.
nervous. No, it actually makes me nervous.
You gotta homeschool your kid.
You
Like,
do.
Not a joke.
Not a joke, because they already can't write.
Yeah.
At
Oh my
all.
God. Script? Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Like, I tried to write something the other day. It's been a while. I still like, they say like geniuses have messy handwriting.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to think about myself.
Like, yeah, it's just because I'm really smart.
Yeah,
so, chicken
I just write
scratch.
too fast. I'm like, my mind moves faster than my hands. But what were we talking about before Chat
That's not even a
GPT?
problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these, I just
not.
get nervous. Their brains just don't even, because even my brain has been withering away. So like, I can't even imagine if your whole life has been Spark Notes.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe they'll just get more used to it. I was on TikTok the other
Yeah.
day. I saw this 3-year-old legitimately playing Call of Duty on an iPad. Like, well. He's like,
they're like
Yeah.
smarter than us.
insane. Yeah.
And kids are like older, younger now because they like consume more media. So like, if you like talk to
Us?
little kids,
Wait, what do you mean older, younger? How do you mean?
they're like, there's like this one girl on TikTok that I'm thinking of who's like, 10 years old, but she talks like she's 50 because like they have more, they
just
hear
know
people
more
on
shit.
podcasts more, like they just
Right.
know how adults talk more and they interface with adults more in media.
Interesting thought.
So they're just like,
Interesting saying.
yeah.
I think we're gonna keep getting smarter. Hopefully our physical body keeps up with our mental progression.
Hopefully.
You know what I mean? Because getting in all these facts and information, you're just sitting there. You're sedentary.
Yeah.
So it's not so great for the physical.
It's spooky.
But I don't know. I feel like we're also in a simulation too. So something above us is going to figure it out.
Hopefully.
What do you think about that?
I like that.
You think like somebody's controlling us right now?
No, I don't. I would like to think someone's controlling because then they mean it's like someone's driving. But right now we're all just.
But they could be drunk.
That's true. They could be acting in bad faith.
Yeah, exactly.
They could be fucking it
in bad
up.
faith, which is something interesting. People are like, the devil's got a hold of you.
Right. Fuck that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fuck that. ChatGPT.
There's something weird. Something weird's going on here. You know what I mean? Like
something's fishy.
Catch me like a couple days here and there. Like, what's really going on? What is this? Does this mean anything?
Do you want me to go into my full nihilistic like rant?
Bring it. Nihilistic. What does that mean?
It means like you're just like pessimistic about the future of humans.
I'm quite optimistic.
Humanity.
I'm quite an optimistic person, but I would love to hear your pessimistic viewpoint.
Because I'm optimistic in regular life, like with my own stuff.
Yeah.
But I have this.
Not the overall view.
I really fear a Wall-E world.
Water, please.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
I fear a Wall-E world. I don't know if you saw Wall-E, the Disney movie.
I think I did. WALL-E. And he's like a lamp or some shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like a little robot. Wall-E.
Wait, I also heard before you start the story, I heard mixed things about that. Am I correct in remembering that I heard mixed things about Wall-E?
Probably. Okay. But I think it's like a dystopian, like it shows like a post-modern world where like the apocalypse happens pretty much. And we all have to move on to a spaceship. But beyond that, which I think would be like hundreds and thousands of years to come, if anything, I'm not that pessimistic, but I do think that a lot of people are like, I think we're being poisoned by our food.
I agree. I don't even think that's pessimistic to say.
I don't think, and people are like,
no, we are.
We're pretending like it's people's
You're
fault.
not supposed to
like they're
eat.
eating too much.
It's fucked up that we're not even supposed to eat.
Right.
Really, that much.
Right. And then like it's just like, I don't know, food is literally has all these chemicals, all these toxins that we don't even fucking know. And everyone's getting cancer younger. People used to just like die of being old. People just were old and they died.
Up until like, what, 40 years ago?
Right. And now everyone's got cancer and doctors are just like, oh, it's genetic. And it's like, no, it's literally our environment. Like, everything is, and I don't have to go into a full rant, but
no,
I really think
give some
that
more.
There's like, I think everything is sort of like contaminated.
We are super disconnected from what we think is in our food. We have no idea. For the most part. And I'd say 95% of people that eat any sort of food don't look in the ingredients, don't really care to know what's in the ingredients. It's interesting. I'm vegan.
Yeah. Oh, so you kind of...
I've had like a phase of where I did a bunch of research into what really was making my body feel like shit, and it was my diet.
Yeah.
For sure. Like eating a ton of McDonald's, eating processed foods, it just makes you not feel well. You know that feeling after you have a huge lunch or a huge dinner and you're like, oh, I just need to be rolled home.
Right.
Like, that's not normal.
It's not good.
If you eat that much vegan food, you never feel like that. You just feel full. You never feel like you need to be legitimately rolled home. I have found, nor do I ever feel sick from eating too much food.
It's like the source of even if you are trying to eat clean, people are buying their fucking chicken from Costco. They're getting these chickens. I'm like very like big meat to me. I'm not a vegan, but I'm very into like sustainably sourced meat because I think hormones and stuff. I'm getting this isn't going to be funny at all.
No. It's interesting.
But it's interesting.
We love it. Yeah.
As Dave Chappelle says, you don't always have to be funny, but you have to be interesting.
He says that?
Well, he heard that from another comedian, and then that comedian went on stage and bombed. So.
Okay. But then we got the message here. Here we go.
Right.
We're being interesting.
This is a podcast. This is a different medium.
Yes, absolutely.
Guys, bear with me. So, what was I saying? Okay, big food. So, I think meat is like, we're overdoing it big time.
Definitely.
You know this.
Did you watch Game Changers, by the way?
I didn't watch Game Changers, but, you know, Forks Over Knives, Fed Up, all that
What the
good
Health.
stuff. Cowspiracy, What the Health, all that shit.
Seaspiracy, too?
Yes.
Okay.
And, I just think that we're like, even if you try to eat clean, but you're doing it from like these very sort of removed sources, it's just not even
Even the fruit, apparently, and vegetables with all the pesticides.
Right, because Roundup is that pesticide they were using for years.
When you had the stuff in your...
It's called Roundup. There's a lawsuit.
In your fucking... What's a parking lot? What's it called? In the suburbs? Your driveway. Oh, my God. In the driveway, they were spraying the thing, and apparently that was really bad for you.
It's so bad for you. Yeah. It's like now there's huge class action lawsuits because everyone's getting cancer. And it's like, we're all like going to die of modernity is basically my point. And we're like, oh, we're making people better.
What's modernity?
Like modern life.
Oh my God.
Like the more we advance, the weaker we're getting. And we're like, no, but we're making medical advancements. It's like, no, we're making people sicker. We're not. I could go on forever.
Kitty for president.
Thank you.
What is the solution right here? Do we just have a lot more?
Local farming.
What's it going to take for us to actually go back to farming? I don't think there's a way to go back. There's too much money being printed
we're too far gone.
The hundreds of thousands of millions of billions of animals that are being killed every day and just like slaughtered for money. There's a lot of money. And then also the health behind it too.
Right.
Giving somebody a pill, not telling them to walk more, go out in the sun or eat locally based meat.
For instance, I have PCOS, which a lot of women have now.
What's that?
Polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Okay.
So it's like a hormonal imbalance, basically. And when you go to the doctor, they're basically like, oh, like take birth control, because that like fixes the symptoms.
Sorry, did I hear this one time that you had gotten like really sick at one point? Was this you who told this story?
I did get very sick at one point.
Maybe I heard this on a podcast or something.
So I had an ovarian cyst rupture and hit a blood vessel in 2020, and I internally hemorrhaged for like 24 hours. It was wild. It was bad. It was also trauma bonding for me and my boyfriend. Okay. Because I was like, because I was going to have to get emergency surgery, and I was just like, hey, guy that I've been dating for 6 months, like, thanks for being here.
I'm about to have $1 million surgery.
I was like, make sure my eggs are okay. Like, I don't know what else to do. They ended up getting the bleeding to stop, but then I was on bed rest for like a week, and then it took like months for the blood to reabsorb into my body. So I had like this, like, my abdomen was like abstended from like all this blood. It was wild, Ted. It was crazy.
Was it red?
It was right before the pandemic. No, but like it hurt to move because like if blood in your body just like free balling, if it touches up against other organs, it like hurts. Like blood like hurts inside.
Did it look any different though?
No, like it was just like filled up. It was so weird.
Like you touch it and it'd be like
right, like it was just like, and then eventually it just like reabsorbed.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Okay, so you were talking about this though.
Yeah, so anyway, and funny enough, they didn't diagnose me then with this, which is like wild. So anyway, this is also why I get like a little bit, why I'm like very sort of hippy crunchy granola with health and stuff, because I just don't really trust. And I promise I don't have an anti-vaxxer edge. I promise you. But I am very like, I get very, I don't know, I don't super trust doctors. I think the white lab coat effect is like very much a thing.
I remember I went to the dermatologist and I had cystic acne, like balls, boils on my face. And the doctor, before he gave me Accutane, he was telling me that the stuff that I eat doesn't affect my skin at all. And like now I just look back on that and I just feel like that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You say maybe when you eat pizza and the oil goes on your face, that would affect the skin. But I just feel like doctors don't know anything.
They're fucking dumb. Like dairy, if I eat too much dairy one week, I break out. I got to pull back. I'm like, okay, kitty, relax on the cheese. And it goes away. But the PCOS, the doctor's just like, yeah, here's birth control. I'm like, okay, how about we just like fix the hormonal imbalance? Let's not.
But why even birth control though? Like what?
Because that's the only thing they know. Right. That's the only thing they know how to do. To prescribe you something.
So that was your OBGYN doctor?
No, this is an endocrinologist.
What's the difference?
Endocrinologist just does like hormones.
Yeah.
And OB-GYN does like the, the physical.
Internal.
Right. So they don't know what they're fucking doing. And so there's all these women out there. Alyssa VT is like the queen of like this natural movement to balance your hormones. She wrote Women Code and like all this stuff. And there's basically evidence that with diet, you can balance these things yourself, and that you don't have to just like get back on birth control and like take synthetic hormones, which I think are the problem. And I think that's what got me into this mess, is I was on birth control from 15 to 21. And I was fine before then. But they're like, you were born with it. I'm like, no, I wasn't.
You ever fast?
I used to fast. Now I don't really fast. I do more cycle syncing, which is when you eat differently for different phases of your menstrual cycle. I'm fine with fasting during my follicular phase. I'm crazy, dude. You're fine.
Wait,
we're going deep.
So I've never on an episode asked what so many words are, by the way. This is a record for me. Yeah, maybe I'll ask one time, but it's like the fourth time. Maybe modernized I should have gotten, but it sounded different. Okay, your funicular phase. Go ahead, Kitty.
So in your follicular phase... I'm such a jerk. I should have kept.
We love it. You should have given me a dictionary before.
Blowjobs and rim jobs.
We did a little cocaine bit. Yeah, rim jobs, clean and dirty Sanchez, the whole nine.
We could talk about rim jobs.
She's diverse.
We do it all. And the men have already gone out of this. They're like, fucking bye. Wait, is your follower base more men or women? Do you know?
That's a good question. No, it's pretty
out
even.
there?
It's pretty even.
Okay.
Write a comment. Are you man or woman or both? He, she, either way.
Yeah. And I guess if you are a gentleman, I think this is valuable info for you because you can manipulate women better with this information.
Boys, perk up those ears.
The more you know.
Let's hear.
So follicular phase is like the beginning of your cycle. Then you go into your ovulatory phase, which is when women are supposed to, get fertilized, if you will. Then you have your luteal phase, which is when the uterus builds the lining of the uterus to like try to have a baby, And then in your menstrual phase, it sheds it all.
How do you know so much about this?
Because I do so much research.
On kind of everything?
I do a lot of research on everything. I'm a bit of an obsessive person.
Okay, do you have obsessive compulsive
disorder?
I do.
You
do?
Yes.
But what's it like? And is it bad or what?
It used to be bad. I've made leaps and bounds. When I was a kid, I was very very OCD. I would wear the same thing every day, wake up at the same time, I would wake up my parents and be like, stripy shirt. Like I would want the same thing. I couldn't wear a different outfit.
Did you have multiple of the same outfit though?
No. I wanted only this shirt.
Like, what was the shirt?
It was this striped shirt that was like yellow and blue.
From what?
Just, I don't know.
Gap or?
I don't know. I don't even know if it exists anymore, but.
Oh, so it's vintage.
It was vintage. But like very young, I always was very like patterned.
Waking up same time, same breakfast?
I don't know. In high school, I did do the same breakfast. My life, I've always been very choreographed with like everything. I would sit down at the table at like, earliest I remember was like second grade. I'd be like, wake up 6:02, eat Cheerios at 6:04.
Punctual too?
Yeah.
Right. Like
that's why I was like, oh no,
right.
I'm late, but I got here
early,
on time.
Or 1 minute early.
But I was like, I'm late. And then high school, super choreographed with everything. In college, very much an exerciseaholic and very like, I had to work out the same amount every day. And if I didn't, I had to run between 4 and 6 miles at the same time every day.
And what'd you say if you didn't? What?
I would die, or I would vomit up my food. Not good. I was like very self-punishing. Don't worry, we've had therapy, gang. We're good. Your girl's good.
Good.
We're in a mature form. And then after college, I was very, I'll brush my teeth in the same way every time. I'll do like 6.
Right hand, naturally.
Yeah.
You ever try and brush your teeth with your left hand? Oh my God.
Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard.
Me too. I'm trying to thinking about it. I'm like hit my eyeball.
You become just completely incompetent.
Literally. It's like doing it with the lights off. It's insane.
So yeah, I like to do everything the same way.
Was there anything that stands out that you remember that you did because of your OCD?
The 4 to 6 miles was the big one.
Yeah.
after college, I was very much like right after college when I moved to DC, I had to like make my bed the same way every day in like and then I would walk around my bed to the bathroom in the same way. Like everything was very much a dance. And I felt like if something threw that, well, I would never let that get thrown off was the thing. I would walk to work in the same exact way. And if I walked with my roommate, I was like, can we make the left here? Like if I go this way, I'll die. It was like a 20-minute walk.
If it said don't walk this way though?
I wouldn't go the other way. I would wait.
No.
Yeah. I would wait.
Being in New York, that would have been very tough. I imagine it's probably tough in Washington, D.C. too.
Yeah.
These long ass blocks, right?
Right. And I would just be like, nope. Like I walk this way.
What if the street was closed?
I don't think that really happened.
That would happen.
If it happened,
if we're living in a simulation, chances are, the universe works for you, not against you.
Right. Abundance mindset.
Yes.
But I would probably cross the street if there was construction. But I'd be like, okay, fuck this.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be like, but now I don't really do those things. I feel I have control over my life, so I don't try to control other things about me.
That's really what it's about. I guess
Yeah.
a compulsive thought on whatever it is you're trying to get done.
Yeah. It definitely, and I think this is the case for other people with OCD as well. It will spike in times where you feel a lack of control over yourself or your life. So you just try to do things and you're like, well, if I'm just perfect, then everything will be perfect, you know? But that's totally not the case. And so I was medicated for it for a little bit.
What were you taking?
I was on Celexa, which is just an SSRI. But I was like, how about I just learn to like fucking live my life better? Like, because I wasn't super fucked. Like it wasn't really in the way of my life. Like I wasn't like, there are some people with OCD that it takes them 3 hours to leave the house because they can't stop locking and unlocking things and like checking.
Do you know somebody like that?
No, but there's a show called Obsessed where you can see these poor people have like way more niche and way more time is taken up by it. Whereas like I was very functioning and like the things that I did were very much in my life. Like it was just the way I took a shower was the same way. The way I walked around my apartment was the same way. But I wouldn't take up more time. Like there wasn't too much time devoted to it.
Did you have siblings?
Yeah.
That's the neighbor, by the way.
Oh, okay. I was like, do you have a roommate?
Sometimes,
like,
sometimes people bug out with that noise. Because like when I'm asleep too, I'll just hear like creaking in the hallway, like somebody's walking into my bedroom. Like that, I'll hear that, and I'll just be like, "Oh my god, is somebody walking in my bedroom?" No, yeah, I'm all good. For the most part, I'm all good. That's interesting, though. Do you have siblings growing up?
Yeah, I have an older sister and a younger sister.
Where did they go to college?
My older sister went to Penn State.
Okay.
My younger sister went to Michigan with me.
And okay, were you guys around the same age?
She was 2 years younger than me, but she ran on the track team. Ooh, so she's way cooler.
Let's go. And they both live in Long Island still?
Older sister, Long Island. Younger sister, San Francisco. Good kids.
Nice.
Yeah.
And your family life, though, was supportive of your comedy decision? As you said, that, you can do for the most part whatever you want?
Yeah, totally. For sure.
Nice.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm surprised, actually, no one gave me any friction.
Well, I think it's because, you did kind of what you needed to do through the age of 21, right? Like you were a good kid up until at least 21 for as far as your parents saw.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how many fights I've been in with my parents by the time I was like 16 or 17. And I was like, I could have been doing heroin right now. Like being dramatic on some
right, when
shit
you make
like
it
that.
like relative.
Yeah, like I could have ran away, been arrested and murdered somebody by now.
I could be a junkie.
Yeah. So
I'm just drinking in the park.
Yeah. With a brown paper bag. My mom was just like, my parents are just like, go to college, do what you got to do. And then from that point forward,
right.
Kind of do whatever. But
I was an early drinker though. I will be
what
clear.
Age?
14.
Yeah. It was kind of around me. Like, what's that? 8th grade? I would just get wasted.
I think it was 9th for me.
House party. So I grew up in the city and we had a basement in the townhouse that I grew up in, and I had a party when I was a sophomore in high school, and a kid came over and he drank too much, and he ended up passing out. He like threw up on the rug. We had to call the ambulance. I went to my parents' upstairs, and I was like, "Min, it's throwing up everywhere. I don't know what to do." My dad was so pissed. We had to call the ambulance. They brought out the fucking stretcher. The cops came like 4 hours later. But thank God he had brought the alcohol from outside and brought it into my parents' house. Like, they would have gotten in so much trouble looking back on it.
The social host law that came into effect.
Wait, when was that?
So this was probably...
I guess right around the time, though, that I was about
right
to get
around
in
the
trouble.
time, either probably right before or right after.
15 years ago. 15 years ago. Probably.
Yeah, so it was probably right before it came into effect, which is where parents could start to get in trouble for having alcohol, even if, having like drunk kids basically in the house. So it was like...
It was crazy. I was pretty scared.
Thing. That's spooky.
How did you get around, though, when you were drinking that much? Were you taking...
lies.
Seniors in high school?
Oh, yeah. I told you, boys. This is where the boys come in as the drug. In high school, I started getting attention from guys really early on. And I'm like, oh.
When you were a freshman, they were senior?
So our high school was actually only 10th, 11th, 12th.
Okay.
Actually, junior high is really when it started. I was starting to get attention. Or that's also after puberty. You know what I mean? Like, that's when everyone starts heating up, you know? So I, like, start getting attention from guys, and I'm like, oh, this is sick. You know? I was like, I really like this.
Let's go.
So I, like, you know, so I, like, had a ton of boyfriends who, or not a ton of, but specific key boyfriends who were like traumatizing. Like this one guy that I dated, I was in 10th grade. He fucking, the first blowjob I ever gave, he started taking pictures of me. So you know that scene in like Finding Nemo where like the flash is and he's like passing out. I like look up and I'm just like, what the? And he's like taking pictures. Or like I went to a house party. I wouldn't even say the
where
worst
did that happen though? Where is that? In the car or something?
It was at in a friend's basement. I know.
Pictures? What do you have? A Kodak camera with him?
Trauma.
Or like phone pics?
Flash, because it was like dark. So he was just like, I was just like, what the fuck? But then he like once took my shirt and flashed everyone at a house party. Just like took like Janet Jackson'd me. And I was
without
just like,
the nipple covering.
And I just like looked, I remember looking at this one kid, Andy, and I was just like.
Andy saw your boobs?
Yeah. And there was nothing I could do. Like this kid is 6'3". He looked, Ted, like a 40-year-old man.
How old is he?
He was a year older than me. But he was one of those guys, you know those guys who just look old so young?
Yeah.
Like he was the one who bought beer. He had this low voice. Weird fucking guy. I think still to this day a fucking weirdo. Like truly a weird man. And he like did, I won't even say the other stuff because it's like not even clippable. But he was in a crowd where it would facilitate my drinking because his friends could drive and like we would just like bop around. So I was like, oh, this is fun. Like I can just like get drunk, and I was like in love with him. You know what I mean? I was like, this is sick.
Do you play sports?
Yeah.
What sport?
Oddly soccer. Which is like not usually it's nice guys and like
Yeah. Soccer guys are always all nice.
Right.
Except for this guy.
Right. This motherfucker. This gay. This fucking fairy feet. Even though I love soccer guys, they're usually the good ones. But this guy. So anyway, then after that is like, you know, you need another one after that breakup, you need another one. Another one. Just another guy.
Yes.
You just need another one. And so then after him, I dated this guy for like 4 years. And he fucked me up a little too. I think we both were not good for each other though. We were both like.
But this was in high school and middle school? Where did he end up going to college?
He ended up going to Springfield and played lacrosse there.
In Massachusetts?
Yeah.
What about the soccer player? Where did he go? Do you remember?
He went to Harvard.
The fuck? Whatever,
Why?
fuck that guy. I don't know.
Oh. But both. The second one, no hard feelings. He was just like young and like emotionally fucked up. The first guy, fucking weirdo. Weird man.
And you basically kind of said it, but do you have any weird stories from high school that you remember? Or stories where you got in trouble for your drinking?
Oh, yeah. So this is not when did I really get in? I actually was really good at going around things, but this one story was, so the first boyfriend I'm talking about, I was at a house party with him and we went out to his car to like hook up, and my parents came to pick me up at the same time.
Did you know that they were coming to pick you up?
No, like I didn't, like the timing, I wasn't looking at my phone. Because at that point, you know, you have your little slidey phone. It wasn't like an iPhone. So like we were in the basement. It's like 3G texting. It's not like iMessage kind of. So I don't think I got the text / in where I live on Long Island, bad service.
Right. They were like, we're coming to pick you up in X amount of time, and you didn't gauge.
Right. / I'm not looking at it. Like I'm thinking I have the whole night.
Yeah.
They pull up and I have to get out of the car with him in front of my parents.
And you're both like in the back seat?
Yeah. Which is just like mortifying for a father to say, like, you can't. My dad didn't talk to me for 3 days.
How old were you at that time?
I was 15.
And he was 16?
Bad news bears.
Yeah.
I took this to a dark place. We'll lift it back up.
You lift it back up with a positive story. One of your best moments. What was one of your best moments in college? You know, you guys had a great football team, great sports atmosphere, and also, I mean, great school in general. Besides the fact that it's freezing up there.
Fucking cold.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
But college was fun. I lived in a house senior year of college with 16 other girls.
That's a lot of women.
It was a lot of women. And we just fucking clowned all fucking, like we were just, every Saturday was so fun. Mm-hmm. We had our little porch where we would, you know.
What year did you graduate?
2017. Also, there was this thing that I don't think they do anymore called ski trip, which was like, you would have to be, I don't know if they explained this to you, your Michigan friends, but you would have pregame partners so a frat and a sorority would be together for a tailgate season. And to like the pre-engagement for that was like, you would go on ski trip together. And then that would mean that you were going to be pregame partners for that football season.
A frat and a sorority would go on a ski trip together.
MLK weekend, we'd go up north in Michigan. But there was a frat that got in giant trouble for completely vandalizing a hotel. Like the pictures are wild.
The house wasn't rented? They were staying in a hotel?
No, like sometimes you would rent a house, sometimes you'd go to a hotel. This one happened to be, and after that was like the death of ski trip. So that's why I don't know if they do it anymore. But they took there were ceiling tiles like out of the ceiling. But I had a whole alter ego for ski trip called Ski Trip Kit because I was just a blast. I had a good time. I was just on another level.
But you went with a different frat every year? You went with 4 different frats?
No, we ended up... So I don't think I went freshman. No, I did. We went with one frat, then another frat. I think we alternated because you ended up usually having the same one or same, different two that would alternate. So they were like your pals, you know, a lot of them were already your friends. And so I had a whole fucking... That was a good time.
Best college moment then. Is that it?
Honestly, yeah, I would say ski trip probably. I don't know which one. Maybe maybe my junior year ski trip. I don't know. They were all so fun. We had a big house for one that was a big white house and everything. It was super bougie and the carpet was white, the walls were white, so there was no colored alcohol. No one could bring red wine or
it has to be drinking.
Everything had to be
Chardonnay, right?
Yeah, but everyone was I don't know how that mattered because it probably got so fucked up anyway that it was
best moment in New York City comedy wise before we get out of here.
Woo! Okay.
Putting you on the spot.
I was hosting at the Cellar, and I was helping out with a mentor and hosting at Fat Black. And I got off stage and I was I did well, you know? And I got off stage and he goes, and I really respect him, you know? He's super funny. And my mentor just goes, okay, you got it. You got the thing. Cause he's reluctant to give compliments. So he was basically you're good. You have the thing you need to do this. And I was that was cool. And then he followed it with an insult. He was like, but you're all dick and no
Level it
balls.
out.
And he like was like, you need more jokes. Like, I mean, you know, and that made perfect sense. But like, he was like, you got it. And I was like,
When somebody who you respect tells you that in the game, definitely means a lot.
felt really good. And I was like, okay. And that's also when I felt that I cracked. Like, instead of just doing jokes that I'd written, I felt like I was actually myself on stage. It was like that time on stage where
When was that?
This was probably like last March, I think. Last March. I was recently sober. I was like doing.
Are you sober now?
Yeah. Or I'm trying to shift to I don't really drink. Not that I'm completely sober.
I don't really drink.
Yeah.
Like the big occasion and like every 6 weeks.
That's fine. I think that's,
Yeah,
I don't
so
really
I'm
drink. You're off
I
the
think
party
so.
bus.
Yeah. Like I smoke a lot of marijuana.
Yeah. I'm a month clean of weed.
Okay.
Which is, but not on like, I don't know if I'll be that for life. I
Yeah.
just needed a break.
Okay.
Because I was just high all fucking day. Oh, just so wake and bake, baby.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
Yeah, wake
Do
and
you
bake.
smoke and then work out?
Oh, I wasn't even like working. You know, I was just like, I actually just take walks now.
Nice.
But
Hot girl walks, as
just
they
hot
say.
girl walks.
Yes.
Not even. Usually I'm just like, you know, got my bald spot hanging out and I'm wearing like a fucking sweatshirt. I forget what we were saying, but
We were just talking about comedy for a moment.
comedy, yeah. So, oh yeah, I was smoking a ton. But yes, I guess if I were to work out, I would have smoked before in my super heavy smoking phases.
But right now, sober. Getting
Yeah.
back to drinking a little bit.
Yeah.
Which I think most people should be at. Because ultimately, it's a slight poison. Especially if you do it too much.
Right.
If you drink once a week, all right. Twice a week, okay. 3 times a week, I don't think is great.
No.
I don't think so. Because
Right.
it just packs on. And then it also becomes like very hard to become healthy after you're drinking so much.
And your face
Stubborn
gets so
fat.
puffy.
Sure.
Yeah, my face has changed, Ted. It's actually wild when I look at pictures of myself.
Really?
I do not recognize me.
Really?
I'm like, oh my God, it is like round. My face was round. There was no cheekbone definition.
Yeah, now you have nice cheekbone
Thank you.
definition.
Thank you.
Katie, thank you so much for coming on the Ted Jones World podcast. This is quite the episode, guys. You learned a lot, also based on how many questions I asked Kitty. Kitty, before we get out of here, we're popping up your Instagram. Please let us know where we can find you.
Okay, you can find me at Kit Reynolds on Instagram and at Reformed Hot Girl on TikTok.
Love it. Kitty, thank you so much.
Thanks,
and we'll
Ted.
see you guys soon. Peace.